In my time spent performing in opera nights in New York City's restaurants, at some point I would often experience someone asking me to sing In today's video, I break down why this character, Calaf, sings None Shall Sleep, or Nessun Dorma, from the opera Turandot, written by the composer Giacomo Puccini. All right, let's jump in. Hi, Cassandra here with Opera for Black Folks, serving culture to all folks. And on this channel, I break down opera and the classical arts from a Jamaican American perspective. Wagwan, let's jump in. First, I want to acknowledge why this particular opera and aria, Nessun Dorma, is so widely popular. And we have Luciano Pavarotti, tenor and amazing opera singer, to thank for that. It was Luciano who is primarily responsible for why this aria is so popular, because he performed it in 1990 at the FIFA World Cup in Italy and just blew their socks off with this particular aria. And it became his signature aria that he went on to sing with the three tenors. And it just was even more popular when he toured around the world singing with Jose Carreras and Placido Domingo. It was incredible. And then, of course, we have Aretha Franklin's famous substitution for when Luciano unfortunately canceled his commitment to sing at the 1998 Grammys because he was having throat problems, and Aretha majestically stepped in and sang a soulful rendition of Nessun Dorma.
Nessun Dorma.
But I think that's why a lot of people think that a woman can sing this song, and why I'm often asked when I'm performing, hey, can you sing Nessun Dorma? I'm like, no, it was definitely written for a man. But we thank Aretha for her contribution, because that was pretty badass. Okay. But what is he really saying here? Watch the translation at the bottom of this video. I've put the Italian on top and the English underneath so that you can get a breakdown of what he's singing while enjoying this amazing music. So what's next is Luciano Pavarotti's Nessun Dorma from the opera Turandot, written by Giacomo Puccini. Here we go.
Nessun Dorma. Principessa, nella tua fredda stanza, guardi le stelle che tremano d'amore e di speranza. Ma il mio mistero è chiuso in me, il nome mio nessun saprà, no, solo dov'è di me, quando la luce
At the end, Calaf sings that I will win, vincerò, vince. You get it. What's going on here? Our tenor Calaf is actually an unknown prince. And the setting is in Peking, China. They say like in a mystic period of time in China. So there's no exact date, but you know, that's what it says. And we find him at the Imperial Palace in a new land, and he is watching this crowd gather. And so we also have Turandot, who this opera is named after. She's the leading lady in the show. She's the daughter of Emperor Altuum. I feel like I pronounced that wrong. Altuum, that's my guess. Somebody correct me. And Turandot has decreed that she will only marry a suitor who is of noble blood and can answer her three riddles. Three riddles. If the prince cannot answer all three riddles, the price shall be paid with his head. And in fact, when we meet Turandot, we see a failed suitor, the Prince of Persia, who is going to be executed at the moon's rising. It's pretty sad. And the crowd, which is like its own character in this opera, is crying out for Turandot to have mercy because they're like, oh, he looks so good and kind. Like, don't kill him. He's cute. So in this crowd's commotion of everybody gathering for this upcoming execution, we see a character, a blind man, get knocked over, and this young woman is immediately at her side, and she cries out for help to help her assist with helping this blind man to his feet. And Calaf sees this and answers the call, only to realize that, oh my goodness, it is his father, Timur, and his slave girl, Liu. So Timur, he's been banished from his land. He's a ruler of his previous land, and Calaf is the prince of that land, but they were run off by an incoming superpower. Basically, they've been pushed off their land, and they are reunited. In their excitement, they're like, oh my gosh, we missed you. And then at the same time, Turandot appears, and she is just in her glory and her splendor as she delivers her judgment on what's going to happen to the Prince of Persia. And so Calaf is immediately taken with her beauty. He gets excited to see what's happening and realizes that there's this whole system of defining who gets to win Turandot's hand. At this time, Timur and Liu are trying to convince Calaf, our unknown prince, not to ring the bell. Don't ring that gong. Please don't ring the gong. You know, we can move on and be happy someplace else. And he just is so drawn to her. We have the three ministers of the imperial house who appear because they see Calaf, ascending to the ceremonial gong, and they're like, are you really sure you want to go through with this? Like, come on. So many people have been so unsuccessful. What makes you think that you're any different? Timur and Liu are begging him to listen to reason, and Calaf ignores it all, and he rings the gong ceremoniously, and that ends Act 1, where the challenge has been communicated and signified that I will answer your three riddles. So by Act 2, we meet Ping, Pang, and Pong, who are the three ministers of the imperial court, who are deciding whether or not, and they're like the comedic relief in this whole opera. Like, it's so intense, but it's wonderful. They are trying to decide whether or not they're going to be planning a funeral or a wedding, and they're wondering if this new unknown prince can somehow soften the heart of Turandot and melt her icy exterior. Calaf appears, ready for the trial of the three enigmas. He's got these three riddles he has to answer in order to win Turandot's hand. Turandot explains in this moment, it's a great aria, and explains why she has devised this system to avenge her ancestor, Lu Yuling, who was captured, raped, and put to death by incoming marauders. And so she's created this way to protect herself. That will never be her fate. And she gives Calaf one more chance to step down from these trial of riddles. Calaf is unmoved. So the first question is, what is born each night and dies each dawn? And Calaf immediately answers, hope. The next question is, what flares like a flame, yet is no flame? And Calaf hesitates, but then he answers, blood, il sangue. And then shaken, noticeably shaken, because I'm sure other suitors probably didn't get this far, right? Turandot asks the final riddle, the ice that gives you fire, what can it be? And Calaf thinks for a moment. It's great music in this moment, and the crowd is watching, and everybody's on edge like they're watching a great sports game, right? And Calaf thinks, and then triumphantly announces, Turandot! To which poor Turandot just like shrinks and dissolves in fear. She immediately goes to her father, the emperor, and begs to not force her to marry this unknown prince. And Calaf sees that she's noticeably distressed, so he says, okay, you know what? I'm gonna give you a riddle. He says, If before morning you can discover the name I bear, I shall forfeit my life. And so that's the end of Act 2. Then boom, we jump into Act 3 and we hear Turandot has decreed over the land that none shall sleep, Nessun Dorma, under the penalty of death until the name of the unknown prince is discovered. Calaf hears the choir singing. He then expresses in this wonderful aria, Nessun Dorma, what we just learned and heard in the translation earlier. He resolves that no one will learn his secret. Only he will be the one to reveal his name to Turandot. But while he's having this whole moment and singing this beautiful aria in the middle of the night and the moon is out, like it's so romantic and it's opera, so why not? Timur and Liu are dragged in with Turandot. She realizes that they know the unknown prince and she's torturing them and holding them hostage, play on his compassion, and hopes that they'll reveal the name. And this is such a great moment. Musically, it's a great moment and it's tragic, which really makes it operatic, just like this huge scale of feeling things. Liu sings this amazing aria. She sings a great aria in the first act too, I forgot to mention, but she sings her second aria is Tu querida sei cinta, like you girdled in all this ice that you protect yourself in, you will learn to love him as I do. No one knows that she grabbed a knife from one of the soldiers and she takes her life by stabbing herself, and as she dies, the crowd, who's the choir, sings no, my goodness, and they pick up Liu and they carry her off in a funeral procession, and Timur is following them, heavy with the sorrow of losing his dear friend. But it's the first moment that we see Calaf and Turandot alone. Calaf is so taken by Turandot that he just pushes himself upon her and kisses her. And I guess it must have been a really great kiss because it completely softens her and she allows herself to feel emotion for the first time. Calaf can kind of see that she's softening. He whispers his real name to her. They sing this like wonderful duet. A lot of controversy about this particular part of the opera because Puccini, who was writing this opera, this was his last opera that he wrote, and unfortunately he died before he can finish it. And so the actual last act ends when Liu stabs herself and the choir sings. Either way, it ends with Calaf and Turandot having this wonderful love duet. Turandot comes to her imperial palace. Turandot announces from the emperor's throne that she knows the stranger's name and that it is love. And then boop, the opera's over. Okay, that's my share for today. Please remember to like, comment, send us a message, send me a message. I love to see the messages, and subscribe. If you actually engage with this video, YouTube learns and it will share this content with other people so I can continue to expand my love of opera and classical arts with a wider audience of people and just have more fun with opera. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Opera for Black Folks, serving culture to all folks, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Ciao.